party. It's just me for right now. Surely more people will join eventually. I certainly hope so. I only took a little bit longer because I'm trying to make sure and see what fucking VODs I have to upload to YouTube. I will hopefully have more ads soon. By God, I hope I do. I need to remember to do that shit more often, to be honest. Today I took my normal spending budget out back and kind of shot it a little bit. Because I was particularly interested in this one game that came out, or actually I think this came out in like February of last year. The fact that I didn't hear about this is staggering, actually, because it's called Kingdom of the Dead. Kingdom of the Dead is, I think it seems to be like a cool, like, hand-drawn survival horror shooter type beat, which, as you all know, I am very much down for. Perhaps I've finally found, the weird FPS, the weird survival horror game of my dreams. IDK. And if this ends up sucking, I don't fucking know. I got Graven also. That's an early access, and I heard that it's good if you forgive the fact that it's an early access. Honestly, I would have fucking done Baldur's Gate 3, but unfortunately, apparently that's not come out till like 11 where I live. Kinda sucks. Oh, jeez. Also, like, I don't know, but I've just kind of been like, it sucks because like I've been wanting to do like actual like JRPGs and stuff recently. I ended up recently rebuying Omori for my Switch because I fucking adore Omori so much. Let me turn the music off so I can get the game kicked up. But like I've been on kind of a shooter kick recently. I've been playing the fuck out of Remnant 2. I'm not particularly fond of how the final boss of Remnant 2 is. Like, honest to goodness, I think that's like, that feels like, it feels like that is a explicit deterrent to people who have sensory overload issues. I cannot deal with that game, with that final boss on like a fundamental level, so I just have to like, I basically have to over level and do like OP meta build shit until I get that shit working right. Apologies. Voice meter's being a fuck. It's not letting me actually. Okay, oh boy. Okay. Turn that down a little bit. Color. Oh. Softer. Sepia. Oh god. Oh. Eh. Okay, it's not as bad. Newsprint actually feels like that worked pretty well in its favor. It just gives it like a more of a textured, like a written texture feel. Oh! Okay, alright. Blue. And... I looked at this kind of nifty. Coffee. Invert tinted. It's just the same as standard. But we're not gonna fuck around with that too much. We're just gonna do standard for right now. Oh, that one. So let's see. Let me just have Discord open because I have to stream it to my room of 0 people at the moment, and hoping more people will join too. Oh no, I'm already streaming it. Okay, cool. Most folks don't know about the war against the dead. Probably for the best. Not my decision. The Bureau has gone by many names over the century, but our mission remains the same. Hold them back. Ah, the void. So I have seen that this game has very positive reviews on Steam generally, but also Eternal Evil, I think, had pretty positive reviews, and that game was a bit of a clusterfuck. Thank you, Angel. It's gonna be a long night. Okay. Time to get to work. I'm gonna pull out a gun. Yeah, oh, it's a sword. Talking sword! From tossing me back into the abyss is your ability to assist the Bureau. Let's settle up, partner. Tragic. The gun doesn't also talk. What the fuck? Oh, okay, here we go. Video game. Alright. Okay. The movement doesn't feel clunky off the bat. Admittedly, I don't have anything to look at, but, like, I don't have any, like, weapons to look at, but I think that was, like, my #1 concern when I get these, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Independently developed kind of, like, survival horror games. Oh, combat simulator? What? Oh, no, I'm good. I can do this in the field. A bit dark. I don't actually have my lights. I just, like, put up a new lamp somewhat recently, because I like, this might come as a bit of a shock to you all. But despite the fact that my name is Orange, I don't like warm lighting very much. So I get those, like, colored bulbs, and I use them to, like, change the coloring of my fucking living room, or my rooms in general. And this I just like to I have, like, a single one, and I just put it on, like, a nice, good old-fashioned, cold color. That's not even a cold color, it's a shade. Oh, okay. Let's just do, number 2. Dimension. Alright.
And I'm gonna say he's opened a door to the underworld here. Not much time, I can shut it. But you need to get me there quick.
I'm still skeptical of being read by a talking sword.
Yeah, I can't do it. You're trying to shoot him, blow him up. Like it or not, you need me.
I don't like it, but I'll make do. Alright. Ooh. Okay. This is kind of like, how do I put this? Oh. So do I have, like, no map, no inventory, I got a sprint. Is this actually a survival horror game? Okay, oh shit. Oh fuck, that's... Look, if you put a goofy sound effect of me shooting somebody in the head, I'll probably like your game. I don't even need to break these. Is this supposed to be like... I think I remember seeing a review saying this is kind of like Painkiller. I don't dislike Painkiller. I don't like it as much as other types of FPSs, though. That's a little bit too arcadey for my taste. But it's actually... Oh, hey, Noah. I'm playing, what's it called? It's not World of the Dead, it's Land of the Dead, I think. I cannot hear you if you're talking. Oh shit, that's a suicide bomber. Oh god. Oh, that's a checkpoint. battle. Oh, what the hell? I will say I don't think this game is a survival horror, though. Don't know why it's listed like that, but it's not. Just because it's a horror game where you shoot stuff doesn't mean it's a survival horror game. Oh. Yeah, get out of here, I guess, man. Shit. Not being able to interact with things is a very questionable decision. You just kind of slide into stuff. L? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, goodness me. Nasty little fucking creature. Alright. Where'd my shotgun go? Huh?
This has a very medieval look, like medieval
bit,
for the
yeah.
PS1.
I see where you're coming from. It's like, it's cartoony, but in like the way you would expect from a game like this.
Things are dark and have a very specified atmosphere, but also they're a little
What the?
cartoonish. Boids.
Oh god, stop making those noises. They're louder than everything else. I am trying to land sick, nasty head. Okay, there we go. Wanted to get some headshots, but I guess that's pretty fine too. Check that you weren't here earlier. I feel like you would have latched to the talking sword. Which is bad. Talking sword is bad. Okay. Oh my god. I am completely out of ammo. Because it seems like they kinda just stopped dropping any. The worm has appeared, it would seem. I am dead.
The Conqueror Worm is a famed poem by Edgar Allan Poe. This also kind of does have a Poe-ish energy to it.
Oh, that's good. It gave me some fucking ammunition and shit back for the worm fight. Ah, I see. The maw is the big weak spot. How quaint.
Have you tried shouting Muad'Dib at it?
I do, I do. Wait a second, open your mouth. Yeah!
C. The C is for conqueror. Get conquered.
I thought the C stood for worm. Alright, time to go in the wormhole. I will say I am like, depending on how long this level is, I am debating just having this be a, grab bag-esque. I have another game that's kind of in this genre that I want to look at. By 3D Realms, the makers of Duck Nukem and other type titles.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
The only thing I've heard is that it has kind of like mixed reviews because it's an early access game. But like generally people are like, yeah, it's good if you just forget the part where it's in early access, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, nice. I remember it being like negative at some point, so I guess they did something to improve morale. Oh, here. Save civilian. Nice to know that you only care about me. Alright, die. Oh, what? Who's casting spells? Oh, there we go. What? Oh! That's just a fucking beholder! Okay, it's not a beholder, but it's something akin to it.
Beholderkin.
What D&D monster do you most closely associate yourself with, Noir?
Depends on what you mean by indie. Does a duende count as indie? I don't know. I don't play a lot of indie horror, so...
No, D&D. D&D.
Oh, D&D. I thought you said indie. Okay. D&D? Oh, that's a harder question. There's so many.
Bonus points if it's a non-humanoid one. Like, well, I relate to the succubus. Well.
I mean, I was probably going to say, like, some sort of lich or something, but I mean, those are pretty human in general.
I mean, like, honestly, like, I think lich is a more respectable answer, because those are skeleton people, fundamentally. Like, I understand the like, the lich that I had you guys meet in D&D, who was, like, a nice guy, he had, like, a facade on. He's technically a skeleton man.
Hey, I mean, that's all fine. There's nothing wrong with being a skeleton. It's what you use that power for.
Anyway, this is just like the fucking... I remember there's a room in RE4 that's just like this, actually. Okay, well, not quite. This is actually more... No, wait, this is like the chapel from fucking Dusk. Oh, lever action. Give me that shit, baby. This one is wearing a cowboy hat. You know, this is just making me, remember and hope that those fucking rumors about a Red Dead Redemption remake coming to different platforms actually being true. That being said, it's not worth it if it doesn't have Undead Army, or Undead Nightmare on it. I would absolutely do a Let's Play of like, at least Undead Nightmare if given the opportunity. Because, like, that shit is bumping, respectfully. Other millennialism. Is that a millennialism? I don't know if bussin' respectfully is a millennialism.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure that's like a zoomer sort of thing.
No, but Con, Red Dead Revolver doesn't have the zombies in it. Nah, it's not the same. It ain't the same, Con, trust me. Plus, Red Dead Redemption is one of the best pre-GTA is one of the best pre-GTA 5 Rockstar games, aka one of the last good Rockstar games. If I shoot that thing in the eye, does it die instantly? Okay, apparent. That or okay, no, or I'm at a very bad shot at this range. Get fucked. Get fucked. Oh, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Let's go. Also, shouldn't you be sleeping, Calm? That's one of the major reasons why we didn't do Ghost Trick tonight. Oh yeah, there's another goon. Let me go save you. You're free! Get the fuck out of here. That is a Gatling gun. Market improvement on my overall esteem. And I got free alcohol. And ammo. Ah. Oh, this feels like a very good way to give somebody epilepsy. I'm gonna stop shooting that for a little minute. For a minute. Is there a diminished effects volume or option? Oh, there sure isn't. Oh no. You know, I want to try out some of the alternate visual options. No, no, no. Kind of. Hey. Hey.
All right, I found which D&D monster represents me best.
Oh boy.
It's the flail snail.
Oh hell yeah.
It's just a big-ass snail that can just beat you to death. And also, it can just go in its shell and pretty much be nearly indestructible.
Wow, damn.
You want to get into this thing? Like, good luck. You're gonna have to kill it first. Also, I think it might be anti-magic. Like, so it's like, oh, you want to get in this suit? Bye. What are you gonna do? Kill me? Try me, bitch.
I feel like that's a hard question it's a hard question for me to answer because the vast majority of my favorite D&D monsters are ones that I make up. And a lot of them are very humanoid. Oh, what's my favorite? Guy in suit? Androgynous individual? In clothing? Oh boy, so many options. Weird plant monster? Actually, I like weird plant monsters. Weird plant monsters are cool. If it wasn't painfully obvious, weird plant monsters I find very cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna change this to a different... Actually, no, wait, that's just gonna make it... the colors more flashy. Oh no. I will avoid using the epilepsy gun. And once we finish this level, I will probably change to something else. Oh man, that's a lot even for me, and I don't have epilepsy. Oh hey, it's the Senate from what is it? The fucking prequel Star Wars films.
Senate.
Pop.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
The fucking angels, the harpies are back. Oh, well, shit. I guess I'm not getting whatever that is. Oh, that's just a health up. Okay. Oof. That reminds me. I really do hope that... God, I need there to be like a good Souls-like kind of at some point. That's not like a gimmick or anything. I want to stream a Souls-like, but I'm good at all of them. I feel like it'd be a lot less entertaining to just see me run up on a guy and kill it with a club in like 10 seconds. Oh, the worm is back.
How many times do we need to teach you this lesson?
It was big, scary, and white. And dead. Oh, really? Triple worm? Oh. Cool. Ah, portal destroyed. Oh. And we're out of here. I'm really looking forward to it saying failed because you didn't get the deed. Oh no, wait, I completed the secondary mission? Oh shit, okay.
Huzzah.
Nice. Objective. Oh, Con! Hi!
Oh, hi, Con.
Hello.
Oh, goodness. Allergies keeping you up?
Along with family that won't leave me the hell alone.
Oh, goodness. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. I do like this game. I don't think I want to keep playing it on stream, though. This doesn't...
What is this?
This is, Kingdom of the Dead. It's a very nifty little title. I think that this is a good game to play in short bursts for me, because, like, it's neat, but, like, there's not a lot going for it. You know, I'm not feeling as stimulated as I'd like to be, especially because this was at least Steam tagged as a survival horror game, and I feel neither survival nor horror playing this title.
I was about to ask if this was a shooter instead.
Yeah, no, this is 100% a shooter.
Yeah, it feels less like survival horror and more like a shooter with a horror aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do appreciate this aesthetic, though. I love the whole black and white basic here.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Next on the agenda is... Oh yeah, that's right. I already mentioned this. Here, I guess I'll give this one a shot. We're gonna try out Graven. I don't know. Hold on a second. Abandoned? I've been looking at Graven for a long time, and the last day I bought it, reading on Steam, my only source of information up until purchase is that it was development had stopped. It's a good game. People are saying it's a bad game. I don't know.
I'm a bit of a contrarian when it comes to bad games myself, so hey, what the hell?
If you like Dark Messiah, that's true. I do like Dark Messiah.
What's Dark Messiah?
Dark Messiah was like a 3D, like, immersive sim-esque video game.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it was actually made in the Source engine, so, like, same stuff as, like, Half-Life and such. I think it'd actually be a good game for PC to do at some point, honestly. Here, we'll give it a shot, and if it's bad, then it's bad. If it's not, then, I don't know, get a refund. I think I paid a little under $20 for it, which I don't mind that much. Here, I gotta go fucking change the stream shit really quickly. I don't keep my own stream open very much. Okay. Graven. I'm graving.
So how's today been for you guys?
Pretty alright.
It's been okay.
Ah, fuck! I forgot to change the go live notification, so people thought I was playing Ghost Trick. Oh well.
What a shame.
I'm feeling better than how I felt this morning. That being said, female biology can take a fucking hike.
What?
Hey, Tim.
Hello.
Hey, man.
What's your name?
My name is Gooby.
Really?
I'm sorry to hear
Gooby?
that. Rest in peace, Robbie Coltrane.
Alright, Graven. Easy
Why not just
puzzles
go the full
mode.
mile?
Raven?
Why not just go the full mile and name yourself Kenpachi Ramasama?
No, I'm Gooby.
He's goobing out.
Oh, this is early access.
Yes. This has mixed reviews on Steam, but I'm very interested in Graven for a hot minute now. Let's see. We're gonna go for Ordained. We're gonna
Flagellant?
do just regular. and regular.
Flagellant.
Flagellant is the hardest difficulty?
Yeah,
Well, that makes sense.
I'm Flagellant.
No, flagellant.
I'm Flagellant.
Well, it'd probably be flagellant, but
Yeah.
I also like it because it sounds like it's saying flatulent.
What the?
Walks the parallel path, following the creator.
Oh god, the frame rate is taking a shit.
Oh, I bet.
Adopted daughter is
Looks okay to me.
He cherished her, and they shared a love of both learning and charity. But not
Aw.
all walks
They
the
like being
parallel
nice to
path.
people.
They
Fringe.
serve another, not
What's
a
wrong with being
creator,
nice to people?
Nothing, I'm
not
joking.
begotten, and their transgressions
Ugh.
are a heavy price
Me talking about my
upon the
hormonal self.
world. When love meets fear,
Are you? You didn't really.
the heart feels wrath and righteous anger, giving birth to unknown strength.
Is there great vengeance with that furious anger?
Blood of a heretic, the blood of a fellow priest, without being able to see how once more he is tried and found guilty. What divides contrition and shame? Acceptance. Acceptance. Succumbing to the burning sands and arguing not over the price of her life. He closes his eyes one last time. A prayer for peace. You will have to earn your peace.
God?
Maybe some sort of horrible
The
eldritch nightmare
devil,
monster.
perhaps. No. Only me.
Alright, what city are we going to this time? Ul'dah? This is too swampy to be Ul'dah.
Me? Gongaga.
This is a joke
Oh my God!
exclusively for Sim.
What the fuck does that even mean? My youngest sisters have been saying that this
Ul'dah?
whole...
Or
Well, yeah.
Gungaga?
No,
The
Ul'dah.
second
Like, yeah,
one.
like this is like the fucking starting cutscene for Final Fantasy XIV.
No, the boondoggle thing.
Oh. Me? Boondoggle.
What is
That
that?
was just like a silly word. It means...
What is this?
To boondoggle is to gold brick, to sit around and waste time and presumably get
No.
paid for it.
No, I know what boondoggle means. I'm talking about what the heck you guys were talking about before.
Oh, so
Ul'dah?
Gongaga?
Yeah,
Or Gungaga?
So for the
That.
record, yeah, Gungaga, that is where Zack Fair of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core fame came from.
no wonder she
There's-
won't stop saying it.
There's a very famous line in Crisis Core where someone asks Zack where he's from, and he goes, "Me? Gungaga."
What's so funny? You know Gungaga?
It's
No
right
wonder my
there
sister
with...
was shut up about it.
That one I can at least understand why it became a meme, because the word Gungaga is kind of funny. I still don't understand why That's Dunban over there became a meme.
Because that's Dunban over there!
It is Dunban over there.
Look, if it wasn't if it wasn't British, it wouldn't be as funny. That's why there's no iconic lines from not from Guilty Gear, from Xenoblade X.
I think you're supposed to be looking
there just
forward, not
aren't any.
backwards.
What a shame.
I think you're supposed to be looking forward. You're just looking at the back of the boat.
Have you tried coming to the back of the boat?
Oh, I can move. Shit. Wait. Wait. Can I not auto sit? I can't save. I want to jump in the green goo. No, I can't.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Not today.
Maybe tomorrow.
Stars.
Graven.
We talked over that entire opening monologue from that
It's
boat.
fine.
From that fucking
I think he was just
oarsman.
I think he was just fantasy nonsensing at us a little bit.
He kind of was.
Staff priest. It's the only thing that will keep you alive.
Okay.
Oh, is this like a hexen? Is this gonna be like
A
a
little bit.
hexen?
So apparently, that they advertise this as a medieval style immersive sim, but it's more like a medieval style like action shooter type beat.
Yeah, so like hexen.
Map of Cruxforth.
Am I thinking of heretic? I always get those confused.
I mean, aren't they're technically part of the same thing?
They're part of the same franchise, but they're like different games. What's the fucking...
So like.
I think you may be thinking of Heretic.
Map, character, inventory. Okay, very interesting, and a journal.
That you're never going to read.
Yeah, I'm thinking of heretic, I
Oh
think.
yeah. Okay, so.
What's the fucking 3D one? God damn it. I'm thinking of Heretic 2.
As I recall.
Heretic 2's in 3D.
Oh, they're Morrowinding it! You have to read the journal to figure out where to go. Oh,
So you have to read it then.
yes.
I guess you just gotta read the manga.
I think it'd be very funny if there were more adaptations of anime that yell to read the manga at you when they don't explain something.
Doesn't Cromartie High do
No
that in
game, no
episode
life.
That's exactly where the quote is from, yes.
No game, no life.
I just distinctly remember it from Cromartie High in episode 1, and I went and read the manga, and I just said, oh, so that's what happens. And then I watched more of the series because Robo Mechazawa is actually pretty funny.
Honest to goodness.
Why would you
tragedy.
call him Robo Mechazawa? He's
Yeah, he's
just a
just
completely
Mechazawa.
normal guy.
Right, sorry.
Also, his name is Shinichi Mechazawa. He has a name.
Oh, it's Shinichi. I just remembered Mechazawa.
Okay, I got
Well, he also has a brother, Mechazawa Beta.
Isn't that like the little tiny one?
He
Yeah,
just
it's a little
looks
thin
like
one.
Mechazawa, except he is phone-sized. So much so that people seem to constantly confuse him for one.
Good to know that I can't pick up that fully grown adult man. I know what kind of character we're dealing with now. To my remembrance, there is a... Yep, there we go, there's the kick button. It wouldn't be one of these games if you couldn't just randomly barge into people's homes.
A lot of voxels.
True. I don't know how I feel about this style over, like, just doing, like, more traditionally rendered 3D. I mean, it's nice, but it's like, I don't know.
Does it just feel awkward or incomplete?
Well, no, it's just that it's like, I guess I grew up in the, like, the era of, like, Oblivion era aesthetics. So I look for like something that's like a little bit more traditionally 3D most of the time. Also, I've always been of the opinion that like, you know, oh boy, retro throwback games, and like we haven't been doing that for like 10 years now. The Lich Slew. The town guard wanted me to clear up a rather grave clog beneath the city. How can I trigger the Pete safely with only my staff? Alright.
I just always look for the interesting games. Style doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I know. I just that I've also become rather disinterested with a lot of like games that are, this is a Metroidvania Souls-like, because there's so fucking many of those now. It takes a very particularly good-looking one of those to really grab me, and there have been some of those recently.
Like Hollow Knight?
I would not say that that is
Yes.
recent, but that is a good one, yes. Didn't you know that Hollow Knight came out 73 years ago?
Didn't you know that Silk Song is coming out never?
True.
Didn't you know the
coming
Gummy
on the
Bear album is
Xbox,
coming
shut
out July 17th?
Same time as Half-Life 3, baby. So let's see, there's a clog beneath... Oh, wait, we gotta go in there, I'm guessing. Here, let me just break this shit down. A kick. Come on, use my high legs. There we go.
That's ominous.
I'm wondering if there's maybe just like a chance that this game kind of like left its target audience a little bit. Alright.
This really does feel like you're playing a discounted version of a Skyrim game.
You know, remains to be seen.
Look at that rat freak out.
Also, to my knowledge, there is a CV-11 joke somewhere in here. You can find a cancer mouse.
Huh?
I like Cancer Mouse.
Oh, hi, Civi!
I have no
I
idea.
watch Civi.
Civi has a returning gag creature called the cancer mouse, which is a glowing green mouse that, you guessed it,
Lives
is
down at-
radioactive.
Lives down by reactor number 7 and spews bullshit conspiracy theories.
Who's Civi?
It's a YouTuber.
A YouTuber who specializes primarily in shooters, but
Does
occasionally,
a lot of-
occasionally goes out of his comfort zone.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just how it be. That is what it do, Yugi.
So do, Scooby.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Death on you. A pox on all your houses.
Stop.
I'm very fond of this one Twitter post that I saw that's like, "Shut up, curse of bad copper," and it's just a bunch of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs.
It is really funny that one of the earliest pieces of writing we know of is an ancient Sumerian tablet complaining about this guy who sold bad copper. And when they found that guy's house, it was full of a bunch of tablets from people complaining that he sold them bad copper.
You talking about Ian Nasir or the other one?
I think Ian is here. Is there another one?
I don't remember.
I distinctly remember there being a joke about a guy named Ian Nasir who sells awful bad copper.
Yeah.
The tablet details that Ea Nasir traveled to Dilmun, or also known as Telmun, a East Semitic speaking city in Arabia, to buy copper and return to sell it in Mesopotamia. On one particular occasion, he agreed to sell copper to ingots to Nani, who is complaining. Nani sent his servant with the money to complete the transaction, but the copper was considered by Nani to be substandard and not accepted. In response, Nani created the cuneiform letter for delivery to Anasir, inscribing on it that the copper delivery is of the incorrect grade and issues with another delivery. Nani also complained that his servant who handled the transaction was treated very rudely. He stated at the time of writing he had not accepted the copper, but had paid the money for it. Give my fucking money back, Anasir. Other tablets have been found in the ruins believed to be Anasir's dwelling. These include a letter from a man named Arbiturum, who complained he had not received his copper yet, while another said he was tired of receiving bad copper.
There's something really funny about like some of the earliest writing we have is from this dude who sold shitty copper.
It is believed to have been written circa 1750 BCE in the ancient city of Ur.
You know, if we ever get like time travel technology, I want them to like make like reality TV shows about shit that happened way back when. They just have like little tiny cameras that just like follow these people's lives. The first one of those needs to be the life of the bad copper salesman. I need to know what his day-to-day life was like. I think it'd be really funny. the Walter White of ancient Sumeria.
The Walter White of ancient Sumeria.
Walter.
Well, no, Walter White sells a fantastic product. He's just a shitty asshole about it.
The Better Call
Wow.
Saul. The Saul Goodman who sells bad copper.
Saul Goodman's also a pretty good lawyer, actually.
I mean, yeah.
He's just also a criminal.
Well, he's a lawyer. Doesn't he have to be one?
No.
I
remember, I don't know if Khan was there for this, but I remember talking to Zaz about it when I finally got to Saul in Breaking Bad. Or, like, he was not what I expected. Like, I expected, like, a kind of scummy lawyer, like, underhand lawyer who, like, doesn't care that his clients are drug dealers. And I got, like, full on, alright, I'm gonna help you launder your money and set you up with my web of criminal contacts. It's like, Saul's just 100% in there already.
Just completely 180'd your entire opinion of him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, my opinion of him wasn't high. I just didn't expect him to be like a full-on criminal.
I didn't expect you to be competent. So the first problem I'm seeing is that this flame spell kind of sucks.
That's like a melee weapon. It also fucking eats through your mana like nothing else.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. Like, and it says F to switch. I don't know. I'm not sure what that's referring to, but like, yeah, no, like this just, yeah, that barely does anything.
At least your mana regens a little bit.
A little bit.
Not a lot.
It's not enough to be substantial is the problem. Because, like, hold on a second. Done. Like, that's less than like a 1/10 of a second, actually. It's like fucking Sebastian running in fucking in Evil Within 1.
Can you set the boards on fire?
Perchance? Maybe this is like actually, yeah, hold on a second. Maybe this is like an environmental tool more than anything else. Okay, so it does light the boards on fire, but also like I have my staff. Maybe it's for the webbings?
So this has nothing to do with anything, but completely contextualist. 13 Sentinels. I fucking called it. I called it like 20 hours ago.
Now you called which part of it though? Because there's so many parts that you can call.
I can DM you. I don't know if.
Oh yeah,
well, I'm not
Noir,
gonna say it on stream.
Yeah, Khan wasn't there, but Noir was. Okay, what if I just burn these bodies, actually? Hold on. Okay, burning the bodies is not. There's a thing to put down a fucking cylinder here, though. Does the journal have anything for me? No. Oh, that's probably what I have to break. Maybe I gotta find like a thing of explosives or something? Gesundheit. Do I get like a experience? I get money.
You get money, but no XP?
So there's not much point to fighting enemies at the
Mm,
moment. Oh wait, here we go. Oh wait a minute, this just took me back to where I was before. Oh. I found a piece of a lever. Wait, can I light this? Hold on.
Kinda. Not really.
There we go. Okay.
Oh yeah. Did it do anything?
No, I think it's just for aesthetic purposes. They did mention puzzles, like, so I probably have to do something with the fire. Here, what if I just started lighting all of these? I don't know if anything will happen, but maybe something will. Oh, wait, here we go. Hold up. Ah, alright. And now we got explosive barrels. Hold on a second. Yep. Okay, so now I can just take this over to that other one and blow it up. Oh, well, wait here. I probably need to... Oh, actually, no, here. I have a fire spell.
It's more range than it looks like it has.
Here, hold on a moment. Let me take a fucking... Let me look at what you sent me. Yep. Yeah. I kind of figured that out midway through, too. Because, like, some stuff didn't make sense if the opposite ended up being true. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, so that hit me a little bit, yeah. It's a good bit, though. Good bit.
No, like I saw one thing and I'm immediately like, okay, this is all bullshit. This isn't.
See, at first I was a little bit overwhelmed with 13 Sentinel's shotgun-esque approach to how it handled presenting its fantasy tropes to you. It's or not fantasy, but like your but it's sci-fi tropes. But then it's like once you kind of figure out what the fuck is going on, it's like, oh, it's not everything happening all at once. It's you trying to figure out what's actually happening.
That the story is actually incredibly linear. It's just told out of order.
What have I been pinged with in regular General? Oh, there's a Bridget yo-yo keychain. Wouldn't you know it, more Bridget merchandise. Did you know that they announced a Biken statue like eons ago?
Is it out?
No, but more Bridget merchandise is. Arc System Works, please. The transgender community is running out of money. As a whole. That being said, I also I might not technically be a transgender individual, but by God, do I also want to buy as much Bridget merchandise as possible. That being said, I cannot in good faith justify spending 150 United States dollars on a Roger fucking plushie. That's so much.
Are you gonna buy the FF14 turntable though?
No.
The $1,000 FF14 turntable.
I would if I had stupid money. I mean, like, honestly, you know, like, if my bonus comes in by the time but before the pre-order for the Bridget thing and for the fucking for the stuffed animal it ends, I might get it. I might whore a
But
little bit.
it's $1,000 because it's an actual professional grade, like, turntable.
Dude, that's not just
That
whoring.
they
That's
just
taking it up the ass with one in your
that they
one in
that
your
they
mouth.
fucking slapped the Final Fantasy 14 logo onto.
See, here's the thing. I would replace my record player. The only problem is that number one, I don't have any additional sound equipment to go along with it, and two, I put a bunch of stickers on there, and there's no way I can easily remove them. I guess I could just rip off the top of the record player and just display it somewhere.
I mean, if you use like a magic eraser, you can probably get off most of a sticker, like without scratching it up.
Oh, god damn it, Riverdale is still going on.
Still very upset that they're still very upset that I want to watch instead of the record player at that thing. And then I lost the watch.
Okay, am I fucking stupid? I think that fucking like location just got locked up. Cause like I do not know how to leave this place now. That being said, boy howdy, am I looking forward to mid-August because that's gonna be a good influx of cash, and I want to make some market improvements to my home. Namely, probably I don't know, get a better sound system or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Just in time for live action One Piece.
True.
Just in time.
I actually forgot about that.
Just in time.
My last name isn't Time. What the fuck?
One Piece went crazy hard this week.
That's good to hear. Alright, clog destroyed. What's your deal? A convict clergy? I don't know if I should bow or have you arrested, but I'm not in a position to do either. You're not from here and aren't sick. You want to reach the library? Tough luck, we're besieged on all fronts heading that way. You can't get out while the plagued horde is beating down upon us. I'm not fit to venture out, but someone with either of your talents stands a chance. The old sunken lighthouse. Refuel it from the storage towers nearby. Light it, you might stand a chance. If we can draw some away from the gate, if you need supplies, talk to the blacksmith. This is not the lighthouse. That's just like a boathouse. Okay, so I can't get to there unless I do the lighthouse thing. Ooh, cool clock tower. Hey, buddy. Can I just beat up random? I am not. You know what? There's no option to freely save. I'm not gonna randomly beat up civilians.
I'm not gonna just beat up civilians if there's no guaranteed chance I can get away with it.
So let's see, we have to lure the infected away, so I need fuel canisters and stuff. Hell is a nest. You best have coin. I mean, I don't know, do I? Give me that.
Reboot.
Hi, Reboot. I'm playing Graven.
You Graven so hard right now?
Something like that.
That's so Graven.
It's the future I can see.
So is this like an Oblivion? Like a...
3D Realms tried their hand at something akin to that, yeah.
This is 3D Realms.
This is 3D Realms.
Unfortunately.
They made some okay games.
Tragically, this game is trapped in early access as far as I can tell. Unlike Baldur's Gate 3, coming out tomorrow at 11 EDT.
They did Ion Theory. Or they published Ion Theory at least.
I'd hope that there's somebody working on Graven because this game's been in early access for a while now.
What, does it have the DayZ syndrome?
Quite possibly.
Oh no.
Or worse, it could have the Project Zomboid syndrome.
What do you mean?
That game's been in early access for almost 10 years now.
Oh
I
my
mean, that
fucking
that
God.
game still gets updates like every 2 weeks, though.
It's odd, because, like, from what I've played of that game, it feels like it's basically done.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where the devs just keep going like, but we could add more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just forgot to take the early access thing off.
I'm guessing they got a fucking cash influx, so they were like, alright, you know, you can put some more in there.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is supposed to be like a hyper detailed survival simulator, so like there's infinite amount of shit to add.
Also, didn't Project Zomboid like have a sudden popularity boom?
I think so.
I think some kind of streamer or somebody played it, which meant that it got a cash influx, which meant that they could keep going, basically.
Also, guess who
what's
just
this?
unlocked Manderville weapons?
Oh.
You.
Oh! Hey, that fucking review is out of date. They said there wasn't a map. There's very clearly a map.
What is that, model map?
Well, no, it's a map of the city.
Oh, okay.
Someone was like, good luck getting lost, there's no map of the city, and they must have fucking added in a map of the city after that fucking review came out.
Or they're stupid.
Yeah, they could be stupid. They missed the very obvious map location. The
Average
Brine
Steam reviewer.
Muskeg.
Average Steam reviewer.
True.
This game doesn't run well on my 50-year-old PC. Downvote.
Hope somebody got fired over that blunder.
Where did I get the Pathfinder games? Did I get those from you?
This castle
Did I?
walked up to me.
Yeah, wait, did I give you... Oh, yeah! I gave you a copy of Wrath of the Righteous, because I already had one.
Where the fuck did I get Kingmaker, though? Did I also get that from you?
Check through my DMs. Check through our DMs. Maybe I gave you that one? I remember giving you Wrath of the Righteous, though.
I remember that, too.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, yeah, I already have that bitch. Maybe it was free. Wait, are you checking? Are you checking Epic Games? Because I know that it was free on Epic Games a while ago.
No, I'm looking at Steam. Just trying to find fucking
Because, like, if
Project Zomboid to see what the last thing they added was.
Also, I looked at Trek to Yomi page. Now, and from what I could gather from the screenshots in the trailer, what I could gather was we have Ghost of Tsushima at home.
I mean, it's an indie title, and it's doing like a side-scrolling thing, so it is genuinely attempting to be different.
Oh yeah, I know, but I could see the Kurosawa influences.
Yeah, fair.
We have Kurosawa game at home.
You know, I'm kind of curious because I, as somebody attempting to buff up their movie film collection, I saw The Hateful Eight for $5 United States dollars. Is that a good movie?
It's okay. Do you like westerns?
I do like westerns.
But the worst I've heard of it is that it's a bit overly long and unwieldy.
Tarantino.
Oh, it's a Tarantino movie.
It's not like a great Tarantino, but it's serviceable.
It's a fine Tarantino.
Look, I'm willing to whore out for a pretty okay movie that's like $5. That's not too bad.
$5 dickaroos.
It's like, you know, I wasn't really like looking for this, but at that price, I mean, movie's a movie. Wait, hold on a second. This is a wooden bookshelf. I can just burn it.
So would you say this game is similar to fucking Morrowind?
It's trying to do that. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. That was just a way into a different location. Oh, shit, fucking shit, dude. Relax.
Oh, I take it you're a wizard build, or is this game just a wizard?
Oh no, the game just starts you with a
I'm
staff
just
and
a
this book.
wizard.
Yeah, you're just a wizard by default. Or you're a clergy. You're an ex-clergyman. And the devil seems to have become fond of you since you somehow draw breath, even after being executed.
Oh, can't believe they stole from you, Orange.
True. I did do that trope as well. That does remind me though. I should definitely pick up the fucking Lancer rulebook this weekend and start going through it.
Oh yeah.
It's
Also, I don't know why I was
pretty
thinking
cool.
of immersive sim, but what game would you say is the quintessential immersive sim experience?
Oh yeah, I bought this because it was like $8.
Oh yeah, you see? Nobody can resist a good bargain.
So yeah, Orange, what would you say is the ideal, is like the quintessential?
I mean, like, if you're looking
immersive
for like
sim
an
experience?
immersive sim, play like Deus Ex or something.
I already have that one.
I mean, like,
I'm gonna
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Okay.
play Dishonored.
Yeah, you play
I have
Dishonored or
that
something.
too.
I don't know. Die.
System Shock.
Sure, yeah, System Shock,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Oh, here we go. Hand crossbow.
I'm gonna make such a fucking
Oh, hey, you
stupid
just-
mech when we get to Lancer.
Oh hey, we were just talking about Deus Ex, and look, you got a hand crossbow.
You can definitely tell that's what they were kind of trying to go for, because they were like, this is kind of an immersive sim. Kind of.
For what, Prey?
No, for this.
Oh, this.
I have also been very verbal about my general eh-ness for Prey 2017.
That's still a good game.
It's okay. Yeah, no, like, I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just that it's like, I don't know, it didn't click with me like I would have liked it to, honestly.
Yeah, stealth doesn't exactly work in that game since when you kill enemies, there's like this timer, and then and newer enemies repopulate old areas. So
I mean, like, you do get,
bored.
like, sneak attack bonuses, but, like, that's the closest you ever get to something like that. Really?
I guess.
I guess I'll go. Wait, I just lost all the gold that I fucking got from doing that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Wait, they only gave you 70 gold?
I think so, yeah. Or else, okay,
Is
it's
that
not
a
like
lot?
500.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, it's
considering that
not a
most
lot
stuff
then.
sells for like 2,000-ish gold, it's
Jesus.
at least in the early game, that's a bit of money.
But yeah, stealthing around in Praise, you have to approach it differently with the different mindsets. It's not, how am I going to avoid combat altogether? It's, how am I going to take this guy out without a direct confrontation?
Mm-hmm. Plus,
Like,
I feel like
oh,
I feel like a lot of like the most distinct methods of you handling stuff is just using that one mind ability that explodes shit, and then
Trust
you
me,
just
that
shoot
is
with a
not-
shotgun a bunch of times.
Trust me, that is a more direct way to it, but it is quite intensive on your resources. And HP. That thing tells you that, yeah. Good game
Another-
design right there. Red thing you shoot. Red thing telling you to shoot it.
Well, you know what it reminds me? You know what game I really need to get back to? Like Evil West, I think it was.
Yeah, Evil West.
Evil West is super cool because it's like, hey, what if God of War was awesome?
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking about Weird West by Devolver.
I also do need to get back to Weird Tit. I have like 3 different games, all with the name West in them, that I have to get back to at some point or another.
Like Horizon Forbidden West.
I have to finish the first one before that, and I don't think I have the strength of will to pick that game up as much as I'd like to.
Yeah. Apparently a lot of people call Horizon Forbidden West a snooze fest.
I mean, well, yeah, it is. It's like, it's quintessential cookie cutter, open world game nonsense.
Post Breath of the Wild open world game.
Not even, no, not post Breath of the Wild. It released the same time, the original one released the same time as the original Breath of the Wild reboot. It's not post Breath of the Wild, it's post Assassin's Creed.
Let me rephrase. I was talking about Forbidden West.
No. Same setup.
Same formula.
Plays the same way. It's still an
Damn.
Assassin's Creed. There's a
Damn.
glider though, so I guess it's kind of like
It's
Breath of the
one
Wild.
degree closer to Breath of the Wild.
Like it actually for once I'll agree with Video Game Donkey on something. He thinks it's a fucking he and many other people think that it's a formulaic, boring, safe mess of a video game.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because fucking Forbidden West was released at the exact same time as fucking Elden Ring.
You know, I
But
can't
they're
like
always getting overshadowed by someone better.
look. All I know is the next time another Horizon game comes out, it's gonna release at the same time as one of the greatest games of our generation, and I cannot wait for that. Which one? It hasn't been announced yet, but I already know it's going to happen.
Also, apparently Armored Core releases next week?
Oh, cool, yeah. Oh, fuck, I should get a day off fucking scheduled, fuck.
Or was it the week after? I don't know.
I have to double check. I think it's like the 22nd of August.
Sometime this month. And way sooner than I expected.
I appreciate that my fucking... that my, I remember, like, I told my fucking coworkers about, like, yeah, you know, I make sure to, like, just take off, like, one, like the last Friday of the month most times. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. We get something to look forward to. It's like, it just kind of, like, it just kind of correlates with when a lot of games come out most of the time.
I mean, that's still something to look forward to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh god, I'm getting gooed.
Poisson.
Yeah, personally, I've always been more inclined to, like, take a look at, like, a weird little 7 out of 10 that, like, falls into my personal niche than, like, 10 out of 10, best game, and it's just a fucking third-person over-the-shoulder cinematic game.
Less Sony, third person over less shoulder.
Yes, Robert, yes. Oh, I see what I got to do here, hold on. I need something to move. Well, first off,
Like
I need
that
something to burn. No, I didn't mean to use my potion.
Kind of cringe that the character just breaks the glass, just throws it without throwing it into the garbage. I take it your magic staff is also your melee weapon.
Oh no, I just have a staff. It's not magical.
Oh.
It's just your default melee weapon, basically.
Oh, it sure looks by God, it sure looks magical. Or maybe it's just drained. Bent staff. Used goods. Slut.
What?
Used goods.
Oh, Jesus. Never describe somebody as used goods.
I know. But I'm describing that staff as used goods.
I mean, yeah, it's certainly seen its use. Yeah, I'm surprised. But this has mixed reviews. This is actually kind of doing it for me. I like it. I do admit I wish that weapons packed a little bit more of a punch, but I think that they're kind of like trying to incentivize you to like use it in more like interesting or like environmentally focused ways. But that's not always an option.
Yeah.
It's like this feels like a very good first draft, which makes sense because this is like probably some of the first parts of the game they designed. I imagine it'll get much better over time.
Hey, speaking of games, you know Triple Q?
Yes.
They posted this question on Twitter. They were like, they were talking about the Family Guy games, and they were saying, okay, so all of Family Guy's attempts at making a video game haven't been good. So what kind of genre do you think would be good for Family Guy? You know what I said? I said, honestly, point-and-click adventure.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
I could see that, yeah.
Honestly,
I played
like,
the original one for like PS2. It's not like bad. It's just kind of clunky and isn't very funny.
Look, it's simple. Just
Well, it is Family Guy.
you know what? Okay, here. You know what you do for Family Guy? Make it a roguelike, Telltale-esque adventure game where you just start it, and every time, every single event is almost completely randomized.
Every copy of Family Guy is personalized.
It's like it picks a story thread, and it just starts running through it, but like different like side gags and like character moments will happen occasionally, and then your cutaway gags are seemingly random for the most part. And the funny thing about the side gags is that they'll have actual gameplay. It'll be. It's like a Platinum Games fucking like Punch Out bit. Oh man, this is worse.
What with the chicken?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Yeah, just have a bit where you play Punch Out against the chicken. Why not?
I do significantly remember the big idea with the Family Guy game that
The Family Guy.
Lucky, there's
the
a
Family Guy game that the whole setup is essentially like the story is absolute dog shit because it doesn't actually go anywhere or mean anything.
Like most
Just like real Family Guy. Yeah.
I mean, like it's more like there are setups for a story, and then the payoff is eat shit. Those were all fake and stupid in the first place. And then
Can't
because
believe you got invested, idiot.
there are
No.
three storylines going at the same time, and the first one is Stewie and Bertrand are having another like miniature war, and it's mostly just and all the Stewie parts are just a platformer where you run around and shoot things. And then the
That sounds
big
terrible.
finale of it is you play a game of Centipede and then fight Bertrand kind of poorly in a like mild boss fight. Then the second one is Brian has been framed for impregnating one of Carter's dogs again. And so his entire storyline is just stealth missions. You're gonna stealth around, and anytime that he needs to turn invisible because he can't stealth around, all he does is just do a cutaway gag, and it gives him like 10 seconds of just complete invisibility. Sometimes just apropos of like he just turns to the camera and just says, "This is why I don't vote," and then the cutaway gag is just and the worst part is the cutaway gags are just QTEs. And it's just Abraham Lincoln is trying to just grab him and say, "Vote!" And he's just like, "No, I'm not gonna." And then the last one is Peter gets hit in the head with like a satellite dish that Stewie knocked over. And suddenly sees a Mr. Belvedere bat signal in the sky and thinks that television character Mr. Belvedere, a portly butler who for some reason lives in a suburban home, is trying to kill him or coming after him, and just basically runs through town beating the crap out of everybody in a series of mostly unrelated and nonsensical beat-em-up segments.
This sounds terrible.
The best joke they have is at one point one of the bosses is the Black Knight, and he's just like, "Oh, they couldn't afford getting your voice actor to come back or find a good replacement, could they?" And then the Black Knight just shakes his head, and then they have a fight. And the story doesn't go anywhere, and it's dumb. The gameplay is short and meaningless, and almost every single one of the jokes is just something that they ripped from the show. And the big finale for Peter's storyline is he just gets into a protracted fight with the chicken, which did not have anything to do with anything else. And it's later revealed that the only reason, half the reason of the Mr. Belvedere conspiracy was Peter keeps suffering severe head trauma throughout his day and is just mentally unwell at this point, and the other half was Mayor Adam West just has a Mr. Belvedere signal for no discernible reason. And confusingly, he's also shining it during the daytime, and somehow people can see that.
That sounds terrible.
Also, almost no replayability. I'm not sure beating the game earns or affords you anything. It's just kind of empty and useless.
So who's Mr. Belvedere?
Okay, so in the 80s, there was just a show called Mr. Belvedere, which was a sitcom about what if this suburban family, for reasons I'm not entirely sure, have a, portly British butler who's kind of fussy. And that's it, that's the show. And the only further reference I've heard is, I think, it might have been where Christina Applegate started out.
Shout out to Christina Applegate.
And I'm probably wrong. And later, like in the 90s, people came up with this ridiculous theory that the kid from the young boy character from Mr. Belvedere, had changed his entire life and taken a stage name and had become Marilyn Manson, which wasn't true at all. They just made that. That was just made up. Somebody just made up that rumor. It somehow lasted for 6 entire seasons.
Hey, it was the early.
Was it any good?
Considering its last.
Not really.
In fact, I don't think so.
The only Butler I recognize as funny from any sitcom is Niles. Thank you.
Shockingly, it was apparently based on a novel that was later turned into a film that they then decided.
Oh no!
Dude, you got cut out.
No.
And then later they just said, let's make a sitcom.
What
Also,
about Jeeves?
Yeah, but I can say that there's Jeffrey from Fresh Prince.
From Fresh
Oh
Prince.
right, yeah, I forgot about
What do you
Jeffrey.
say, Jeffrey? Want a W?
What about Jeeves?
He's literally the prototypical Butler.
Like, that's where it started.
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah, like Jeffrey and
like,
Niles are two of the funniest characters in sitcoms I've imagined, and they're both
I don't know
butlers.
anybody who's ever read the Jeeves books except me.
Never read them.
I've watched
Never
a bit
even
of
read them.
I've watched a bit of Jeeves and Wooster. I never read the books.
I think Jeeves and Wooster might be a bit more palatable. One, because, I mean, these stories are kind of mostly similar. It's just Wooster has to deal with shitty or annoying rich people, and Jeeves is going to solve everything by being smart and usually just kind of talking down or shitting around Wooster, because Wooster is an idiot and a fuck-up.
It's so wild to me that that's the same guy who plays House.
And it's also wonderful because Wooster and Jeeves are just Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. So I think it was like I think they had a short sort of comedy like variety show before that called a bit of Fry and Laurie, and then later their big takeoff was let's just do all the Wooster. Yeah, why not? They'll put it on PBS. They do that shit for free.
You just ran straight in there, no hesitation, huh?
I figured that I'd be faster than it. Here, you know
I didn't know that they'd worked together before.
Okay.
Actually, no, that's a lie. I read the one about the birds, and that's the only one I read. Where he like fucking, I don't know. There's some goddamn shit about how he wanted to impress a lady with bird knowledge.
Most of the stories either revolve around Wooster is getting dragged into some like annoying dog shit party or otherwise rich people event, and he doesn't want to get involved, or he wants to like make money off it somehow, and shit's gonna go poor for him because of course it will. And if it isn't, it's usually just, it's about a girl, and he's gonna fall in love with a girl another 5 times, and something's gonna fuck up. And any other story is like my rich. So the whole basis is Wooster is is from the British aristocracy, but moved to America because his parents are dead, and otherwise nobody wants to fucking put up with him. But his aunt Agatha is rich enough that she can just put him up like forever in America, and that's more or less what she does. And the only times that she doesn't is any time that she's going to come over and tell him that you're gonna fucking do something for me because I pay your rent, you bastard. And usually anything that she asks for is either go to an annoying rich people party or you're going to marry this woman regardless of your choice. And Jeeves will usually figure out some way that he doesn't. Usually to Wooster's own either benefit or detriment. Like, the entire second book I read was like, they're all generally short stories just to start with, but it's like, oh man, Jeeves has to deal with his a really, really annoying friend, Bingo, because they all have weird. Everyone just has weird names for no good reason because they're British, I guess, or it's funny that way. And most of it's just Bingo keeps falling in love with random women and needs like Wooster to help him either woo them or like get into some convoluted plot. And pretty much at the end of it, he's able to divorce himself entirely from Bingo. Bingo doesn't get with any women because all the women either find out he's annoying or didn't actually care about him in the first place, or he ran off with another woman again. So instead, like, the last woman that he falls in love with tries to court Bingo, and Wooster try to court her by pretending to be the author of a famous, like, romance novel that this lady just loves and can't get enough of. And Wooster's basically just out on his ass when it's very easily discovered that he didn't write the books. And it's just like, fuck, I gotta explain this. This isn't gonna go well. Shit. And the girl finds out that Bingo's father is actually also really into these books and immediately falls for him instead because he actually cares about these books, and the rest of them were just kind of faking it. And Jeeves more or less solves the problem by just saying, Wooster, he's fucking crazy. Like, why would you listen to him? He's a stupid piece of shit. Like, and Wooster's actively, like, upset about it. He's like, what the like, what? You just ruined my fucking reputation with
You're my
Bingo
butler, man.
and with this girl that I was, like, kind of interested in. It would have been nice if I could have had, like, some side piece fun there. And he's just like, yeah, but, like... He's like, yeah, I did, but now you're off the hook. And she also doesn't, she does think you're literally crazy, and that might damage your reputation, but you're also not in trouble. And do you want me to run you a hot bath and get you, like, a nice tasty snack? And he's like, yes. Thanks, Jeeves. I guess you did solve all my problems again, but, like, And pretty much any times that Jeeves doesn't want to help him, it's usually a minor ulterior motive of something like Jeeves not feeling he is being respected for his more or less objectively correct opinions, like almost all of which are entirely aesthetic, where it's either like he is actively telling Wooster, like, you literally can't sleep with this woman, it will be a incredible scandal if you try to, and everything will fuck up if you do. Or it's like, Master Wooster, you definitely can't go outside with that mustache. You don't look good with a mustache. You need to realize this. But also, he's a butler, so you can't, like...
Yeah, you can't, like, say
that. The usual refrain is, if you have said something that will upset or otherwise turn off Jeeves, like, he doesn't say, like, that's a good idea. He just says, very good. And that's just sort of his, that's how you can tell that he is displeased but can't say so. Very good, Master Wooster. Or, like, you're wearing spats with blue socks? Like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of fucking like dog shit fashion statement are you trying to pull off here? Like, you're wearing, like, you're gonna wear gartered socks and shorts? What kind of fucking...
What are you, stupid?
And usually it's just either Wooster thinks this is a good look for him and it isn't, but he's, like, too proud or full of himself to say so, or it's just like it's a fad going around where he's like, everyone's wearing green hats, you know, so I've got to look good. And then it'll be like, in the end, Jeeves either, like, threw away his green hat, or, like, part of solving the problem involved him using the green hat, like giving it to someone else, and that solved the problem. And that's pretty much most of what you get with these sorts of books and stories. And luckily for the most part, they're all in the public domain and available on LibriVox.org. Come on down to LibriVox, where anything in the public domain you can hear narrated for free by people who actively volunteer because they don't have anything better to do, I guess, or they are passionate about these works.
I do quite like Liverbach. It got me through Bartleby the Scrivener in college.
Ooh, that's, I'm sorry to hear that. Ugh. The main problem with Herbert, is it Herbert
Melville. I think it's
Melville,
is it
Melville in general.
Melville. Herman, I think it is.
The area has repopulated with enemies.
How did you cut out?
I did.
Or might have cut out.
Herman Melville. Yeah, the problem with
Yeah.
Herman Melville is his books are supposed to be good, but they're also real fucking boring.
I once had a teacher describe it as like looking at the facade of a Catholic church or like a Gothic church, but then you have to try and climb it, and it's like, nah, it's too much work. It looks real pretty. Not gonna try and climb it though.
This seems nifty, but I try reading it and I go honk shoo me.
Yeah,
that's usually what you're gonna get.
I thought Bartleby the Scrivener would be better because it's not like it's not just a whaling encyclopedia pretending to be a story. But like,
Yeah.
nah, it was also like a slog to get through.
That's kind of the thing with Melville, is he wants to tell you lots of stuff about lots of, like, particulars about this job or about this person and about their life so you can really understand them. And if that isn't boring, it's just going to come off heavy-handed or like it's just trying to take up space. And if you want a story that's like that, you can just read, like, any good amount of Kafka, and it's going to come off a lot better anyways.
What the fuck was that other one that's on a boat
Let's upgrade the fucking
with the trial about the guy who kills the other guy?
From Melville or in general?
From Melville, like a young, beautiful sailor kills like an asshole, like officer on like a boat, and there's like a whole court trial. What the fuck was... I'm pretty sure that was Melville.
This may be Billy Budd, Sailor, an inside narrative.
That sounds correct, yeah.
Hey, wait, there was a guy here. Where the fuck did he go? I talked to him about this whole fucking side quest I did. Where the hell?
Yes, Billy Budd is a handsome sailor who strikes and kills his false accuser, Master-at-Arms, John Claggart. That's what it was. That one was alright. I did actually kind of enjoy that one.
It's also unfinished.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it turns out Melville died in 1891 before he could really, like, polish that off much.
Yeah, it's a little rough around the edges.
So
Like, it's got an ending, but, like, you can kind of tell it wasn't, like, he didn't quite go through it as many times as he would have if he didn't die.
Oh, he didn't buff it up afterwards. He didn't proofread.
Well, yeah, he died.
It's hard to proofread things when you're dead.
I mean, hey, you know, maybe his ghost has some real good insights on why that book wasn't as good as it could have been. Who wants to do some necromancy? This is the game to do it.
If you want to read a book that's just a lot of unnecessary detail, you should read Les Mis.
And,
Fucking Hugo loves his goddamn side tangents.
Hugo's like he's like the French, not Darwin. He's like the French Dickens, where it's just going to be, oh man, you're going to hear so many fucking things about how life is like, and if you don't find it entertaining, it's not going to go anywhere.
I found Hugo much more entertaining than Dickens. I don't know what it is about Dickens, but like his stuff just bores me to tears.
It might
Like,
also. I think.
Charles Dickens or
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Charles Dickens. I think the problem I've found with trying to get into Dickens sometimes is like I try to start reading like the old Curiosity Shop, and like a chapter and a half in, there was like a conversation between the guy that owns it and it's either his son or like a young friend and his friend who's like they're like they are troublesome sort young people, and there's just a conversation where I can't actually tell who's talking to who because they're not being very specific, and I was just like, nope, I can't deal with this. And the other thing I know about Dickens is if it's not like A Christmas Carol, everything else is really long-winded because he is a serial author who posts these things in the
Yeah.
paper.
Same thing with Hugo, and I think Melville.
Also, Monsieur Dumas de Pere,
Yeah.
because that's the problem I found with Dumas is, man, you think you want to read Dumas, and then you realize, oh, this book is like 8,000 pages. Like, you can't read The Count of Monte Cristo
Yeah, it's like
easily.
fucking 800 pages.
Jesus.
I might actually be unclear. It might even be 8,000. It's like, it is a book
a
probably
long-
large enough. If it is unabridged, you could kill someone with it.
I've
And I
read
gave
it.
up on that about a good ways through because, like, let me see here. I got like 28 of 50 something chapters in, and the first like half of those chapters were, oh man, Edmond Dantes is getting fucked over by the political
Yeah.
system, and he's going to prison, and it fucked him up so bad. And he met this old guy in prison who helped him break out,
Super
and it was
rich.
cool.
Hmm.
And now he's really rich because he found a big pile of treasure in a secret
Fucking
grotto that
super
old man
rich.
told him about. But also, he's really pale because he lived in jail for 30 years or so, and everyone's suspicious of him. And then the entire thing changes perspective, scene, and setting entirely, where it's like 5 years later, Italy. Two young guys who are kind of rich are in big trouble because one of them has been kidnapped by Italian gangsters for like gambling debts. And for like a good 12 chapters, you gotta follow this one guy who's trying to find his friend in Italy, mostly just kind of wandering around. And the denouement of that is just, oh man, it turns out Edmond Dantes lives in Italy now and is pretty rich and well established with gangsters, and is just like, hey, could you let this guy's friend go as a favor to me, the vampire, Edmond Dantes? And they're like, it's Edmond Dantes. It's like, it's Mr. Vampire. Everyone loves the Count of Monte Cristo. That
Like,
guy's so fucking
hey,
cool.
Hey,
hey,
come
that
on!
guy.
And then the big problem is after that starts the big revenge side plot conspiracy. And it starts with like Father Abbott, who I assumed was just Dante's in a disguise, shows up and
So,
has a long protracted conversation with a guy. No, he's trying to talk to a thief who is like living at an old church, who it turns out later is possibly responsible for stabbing one of the guys who put Edmond Dantes in the slammer for 30 years.
Edmund?
And they didn't make clear anything about who Father Abbott is or what his point in any of this is. And when I figured out that's not Edmond Dantes wearing a disguise, I was just like, this is getting too fucking complex for this to make any sense. And also, I don't entirely grasp the political movements of this, other than this guy's rich and his dad was on the wrong side during the war, and now he's kind of up shit creek. Maybe? Unless he can fuck over Edmond Dantes,
yeah.
might be in the clear.
There's a lot of little details I don't remember. I got through it when I was much younger and had more motivation for that type of thing. But like once the revenge plot like kicks off in earnest, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen like the Wishbone version, or I've read like I forget what company it was, but they were called like the Illustrated Classics, and they were these big, chunky looking white, glossy hardcover books. And like, if you went to like a middle school, presumably in Florida or anywhere in America, they just had them everywhere. And they were just, what if we pared these books down to a point where kids could enjoy reading them? And I don't remember who made them. They were just good classics for getting anything down. You want to read the Three Musketeers? We can do
I
that.
have.
And it won't take you 4 years to try and get through it. And they're
I
gonna.
read all of that, and I remember almost none of it. Like, just nothing about Three Musketeers stuck in my head.
I like the Disney movie.
Don't we
I
all?
thought
The
it was pretty neat.
the Mickey Three Musketeers.
Yeah, thought it was pretty neat.
You see, that's the sort of thing where Disney's good at these things where it's like, how about we just melt down the story into something palatable? Because nobody actually wants to read The Prince and the Pauper by Mr. Samuel Clemens.
Nobody gives a shit about this political conflict that's centuries old.
Also because, spoiler alert, The Prince and the Pauper is also just a ripoff of an older story called The Prisoner of Zenda, which is the exact same story, except what if it's placed in like a tiny Central European kingdom that doesn't exist, instead of. I don't really remember where Prince and the Pauper takes place, other than
I have no
I
idea.
think France, maybe.
You know what is pretty funny about... I'm also weird that I do actually kind of enjoy the big, long, like, side tangents in these kind of classics, for the most part.
It is apparently in London.
I like it when you
British
have
even.
a point that eventually loops back around to the main story, unlike Moby Dick, where it's just, hey, you want to know about whales?
I'm gonna spend a couple, and by a couple I mean 4 chapters, just telling you facts about whales.
Like the bit where it's like, this is how whalers skinned the whale. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But then there's the bit where he just runs through, like, the entire, like, animal kingdom family of the whale as they knew it in that time period. And it's like, this is just a bunch of fucking Latin words strung together. This is nothing.
I love Latin buzzwords.
I fucking love whales.
This is just a bunch of scientific names of whales and their living habitats.
I think the disparity is really.
By Brendan Fraser.
You see, I think the problem you get with Melville is like there's so many details, and they're not always necessarily directly. Like, you'd think knowing all this about whales would make you just more informed enough to sort of like,
Yeah.
oh, this is gonna set something up, and they're telling us about how they skin whales, so later when they're skinning a whale, you'll know what's going on and what's gone wrong in this situation. Nah, it's
No.
just sort of like, here's some more information about whales.
Melville gets paid by the word, fucker.
I also am not sure if Queequeg is like, oh, well, first off, no, he's almost definitely a racist interpretation of
Almost certainly.
smoke from the South Seas or wherever it is he's implied to be from. I think they just use the all-purpose racist term of cannibal.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think they just call him a cannibal. That's something that's always fascinated me about like adventure stories from set in that time period, where cannibals are just fucking all over the place.
It's like
I think
Europe
because they
was
just discovered them.
Yeah, Europe was fucking convinced that anywhere that wasn't Europe was fucking chock full of cannibals.
And I'm also, I'm not entirely sure if it's the way it might be different, but the word cannibal itself is just like a corruption of either like a real people that live in the Caribbean and may or may not have been actual cannibals or not. and they just sort of went to applying that to everyone in the area, and then just generally to anyone that eats human flesh. Like, for any good reason or otherwise, just, no, let's just go with, cannibal. It's like the word barbarian, which just came from the Romans inventing a word for, it's one of those people that just speak a language that isn't Latin, so it just sounds like bar. These fucking barbarians from fuck knows where.
I think part of the reason it bothers me less when Hugo goes on his big dumb side tangents is a lot of times there's like he's just writing a persuasive essay and just dropping it in the middle of his story, so there's at least like a through line you can follow and grapple with. Like when he's fucking talking about the Parisian sewer systems for like 40 pages, he's at least like, there's like an argument there about how Paris should use its fucking sewer waste as farm fertilizer or whatever.
I mean, is it a convincing argument?
I don't know. He doesn't really get into the logistics of how they would do that. He's just like, we should do this. In China, when the farmers go into town, they come back with 2 buckets of slop, and the Chinese, they grow real good crops. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate here, Hugo. I think you need more than 2 buckets.
Are we talking about Hugo? Which Hugo are we talking about?
Victor
Hugo.
Wow, they just dropped me in this area and did not tell me where to go.
That's why the Waterloo part is the most boring. It's just, hey, you want to know what happened during the Battle of Waterloo? Here's an incredibly dry recollection of what happened during the Battle of Waterloo. And then a little bit of plot at the end.
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's the red door. That shit blended in with the fucking wall. Also, yeah, I switched games again.
I saw.
What game did you switch? What game did you switch?
Project Warlock 2.
Oh, I heard. Is it good?
It's good.
I like the first one.
There's a
I should
combo
read
deal.
Hunchback. I've never read Hunchback.
Combo
I desperately need to read more quote-unquote books. I'm very fond of manga, but I find myself involuntarily honk-shoeing whenever I try to read a book with words attached to it.
Do you want to read like a classic, or do you want to read something more contemporary?
No, I already have like a shit zillion books, both old and new, to take a look at. I got a couple Philip K. Dick stories, some nice short stories, novellas type stuff. I have a pretty hearty backlog of just words to read through that I have yet to do so, mainly because I consume so much media. I can't stop consuming media. Most of it just isn't books, tragically. But also I really like buying books. I just go, oh, that looks neat, and then I add to cart.
Still streaming?
Yeah. I also kind of want to get a complete collection of Shakespeare.
You know, that's right. I actually have a meaning to, I wanted to reread Hamlet at one point or another. Also Macbeth.
You see, when it comes to classics like Shakespeare, it's usually a lot. Well, I mean, it's super easy because they're free online, and they just have the footnote versions literally online now. But it's also this idea of just as long as you have like those footnote versions to explain the shit that the little things where it's like, oh man, this guy made a joke about dolor, which is an old word for being in pain or anguish, and it's like a pun on dollar though. So it's like
Get
it's,
it?
it's just one of those things where it's like that's something you're not gonna fucking get.
Money.
Biting your thumb at someone was an insult.
True.
Exactly.
They should bring that
But it's
back,
also
actually.
But it's also like shit where I saw this PBS like short documentary series where they just talk to a big famous person who's going to be in a Shakespeare production, and episode 1 is Ethan Hawke is going to be in Hamlet. And so like I just the only part I remember is he's just sitting down with like the director or another Shakespeare expert, and he's like, and it says here that Hamlet is upset because his father has been dealt a most grisly murder, and I just sort of asked them like, oh, what exactly is a murder? And they're like, it means murder. And he's like, oh, I see, that's very sensible. I understand. And it just feels like he's like very in depth and like, oh, I'm understanding the words of the bard now. It's like, yeah, no, you probably could have guessed at that one, buddy.
That
Like,
one-
come on, get it together.
That one I probably could have figured out through context clues.
It feels almost like he set up like that filming, like that shot for the documentary. It's like, yeah, just give me a thing in there where I'm just sitting there talking about the book, so it feels like I'm learning something.
You know, I'll be real. I didn't know who Ethan Hawke was until I watched Moon Knight with my parents. He's not
Fair.
He's not a recent actor, I imagine. Like,
Oh no, he's been around for a while. The problem is he's in a specific set of films that you've either not seen or not enjoyed, because he doesn't always have great flicks, but the ones he's in are usually pretty good. Like Dead Poets Society, classic, love
That's
it,
a good one.
to know.
Wait, who's he in Dead Poets?
I think he's either one of the main guys or like the friend.
It's interesting because like I remember fucking distinctly because I watched like when we watched what's it called, Glass Onion. He's there for like a split second.
Oh yeah, no, that's got so many cameos.
So like I only it feels like I only learned about you yesterday. What are you doing here?
It seems ostensibly that Ethan Hawke is more or less the main character of Dead Poets Society.
I was gonna say
if you don't say that Robin Williams obviously is.
Yeah.
Oh. I've never heard of Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society
No.
is a very good film where it's basically the idea that just invented the cool teacher trope, where Robin Williams is. It's like that idea of, you've seen the trope in media of like, he's the cool young teacher, like, take out your textbook and just start tearing the fucking pages out. You're not gonna need to read this. This is the part that they just want you to learn for like fucking tests and shit. Like, you can just take the textbook and throw it right in the trash. Like, he's like one of those edgy teachers that are gonna teach you things. And also he gets the great line of like, but he's also a really passionate teacher, one that really cares for the kids. Carpe diem. You kids have to seize the day.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Man, I'm like, you know, all things considered, I'm like weirdly tired of like the cool teacher trope. Mostly because
You see?
not because I've experienced it much, but because I just kept seeing parodies of it.
You see, I think I saw like a college humor video that was like the best parody I've seen of it, and that's it. Like, that's all I reached the high watermark of it, where it's just like, oh, okay, they're not gonna get much more out of this than there really is. That, or like maybe some little bits and pieces of the one South Park episode where Cartman is just openly trying to rip off Edward James Olmos in Stand and Deliver, which is a very similar film, but it's just treated in a general version. How do I reach the key? And that's pretty much like he's parodizing it and using it like the entire point is just they're making fun of it, but it's how they're doing it where it's just like, nah, you kids don't need to learn how to do good, you need to learn how to cheat, like the great cheaters of the past. And then he gives a big emboldened speech about how cheating gets you ahead, like I believe his big example is NFL coach Bob Belichick, who is using like mildly deflated footballs or some other like cheap dog shit tactics to get his team ahead. He's like, yeah, but he won, and that's what's important. And afterwards, they might call you all sorts of shit and prove that you were cheating, but you passed and you got there. And I'd say the best part about Dead Poet Society is like, if you're tired of the like cool teacher trope, like, it's that at its purest, but it's also that at its best, where you're getting like, this is the prototypical, but it's also not like it's like when you if you go back and watch Gaslight, which I have done, like if you know the twist, you kind of lose a lot of the strength of it, and you do already know what's going on.
Yeah.
If you already know what's happening, you're gonna kind of just be at a loss of just,
Oh god.
is it gonna happen? When are we getting to it? Like,
Yeah. Same thing with Jekyll and Hyde, where it's like, that shit's supposed to be a twist.
Oh wow, this game's really improved from the last.
In the
one.
original Jekyll and Hyde, I think, but a lot of the adaptations lean into let's make this story about Jekyll instead of the investigation, so it becomes a lot less of a mystery and more of a passion play about like the nature of man and crime itself and shit.
Yeah, most adaptations of Jekyll and Hyde just take the basic premise of guy drinks concoction that splits him into good half and evil half,
Like Two-Face?
and that's about all they take from it.
Oh, you know what that reminds
I mean, more or less, yeah.
Like, I remember I know I've talked about how much I like his videos a while ago and how much you should watch them, Noir.
H.H. Bomber?
Yeah, H. Bomber guy, when he was doing his video about, I think why, like, either Sherlock or Doctor Who kind of went down the drain, he specifically brought up how Stephen Moffat was the showrunner for a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde show.
That was apparently very bad.
Hey, guess what? Immediately after Stephen Moffat stopped working on Doctor Who and Sherlock, his next job after that was, hey, guess what, guys? I'm gonna do a hot new BBC remake of the classic everyone loves. That's right, it's Dracula! And it's gonna be so fucking good. And, you know, I wasn't against it until I actually read, like, a plot synopsis where the idea is, hey, you know that book Dracula? Fuck you if you enjoyed it. We're not going anywhere near that shit. Like, we're gonna start with, like, 2 episodes of Dracula, and then the other 4 are like, man, what if Dracula survived to the modern day and was a tragic hero and nobody truly understands him, and now he's living in the... It's just a bunch of bullshit where, like this storyline's just not going anywhere, it's not gonna get any good, and it's definitely not getting a second season because people didn't like it.
Just let Dracula be ontologically evil, it's fine.
Or at least, if you're gonna make him tragic, like, get a good fucking story on it. Like, hey, Tomb of Dracula's been around for a while, somebody fucking adapt it already.
Hey, I mean, you know, there's a really great tragic Dracula. Have you heard of Castlevania, the animated series?
Also true. You see, that's the thing, is it's also, like, you know, just market saturation of, yeah, everybody. Like, there's been, like, at least 4 to 5 good tragic Draculas, and if they're not, they're just kind of boring.
I mean, so, like, the interesting thing about, like, how Dracula works within the context of Castlevania is that, on a fundamental level, his beliefs are ontologically evil. He just wants everybody to die, like, no matter what.
He's trying to commit mass suicide.
Mass murder suicide.
And, like, it's not even just about, like, the vampires, like, or it's not even just about, like, the people. Like, there's a heavy implication that, like, he just wants to exterminate the human race. He doesn't care about, like, cattle or, like, getting people around so that they can, like, keep going. It's just, like, I just want everybody to fucking die. They killed my wife. I don't give a shit anymore. It's just like you feel kind of bad for him, but because you understand. But like his beliefs have always largely been anti-human, So this is just kind of like a step in another direction.
The moment for me that I lost all sympathy was the point where Alucard went, "Mother would hate what you're trying to do," and his response is, "I know." That's the point where I lost all sympathy, because
Yeah,
it's like,
I know.
don't fucking do this in her name while you're spitting on her grave and ideals, you fucking jackass.
Like, yeah, like that's still the good thing is that it's like you're kind of supposed to feel bad for him, but at the end of the day, he is still a fucking piece of shit.
Speaking of which, if you guys saw the Castlevania Nocturne teaser, right?
No.
Oh,
They're coming out with a new Castlevania.
Oh yeah, like I saw the fucking shit for Nocturne, and like from the first line where they're like, "I pray for you, Richter Belmont," I was like, "Oh, it's back!"
There's no
Are they doing
fucking back.
They're doing Richter.
Yeah, because he's the recognizable one.
Not Simon.
I mean, like they'll probably have a quick bit about
It's
Simon.
a terrible night to have a curse.
Or it's gonna be about Richter trying to live up to Simon's legacy.
Simon should get. They should do all the games, and Simon should get exactly 2 episodes. One for Castlevania 1, and one for Castlevania 2. And then we're done with Simon Belmont forever.
And the episodes are just him breaking into
It's
Dracula's
just
castle
him beating ass through Dracula's castle.
while screaming and never stopping.
It's just that it's like I'm not necessarily sure like how a lot of Castlevania works because of how they posed Dracula within the story of the series. Because I won't, naturally speaking, I won't say much if you have yet to.
But I know
consume
what
it.
you're talking about.
But it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if they focus more on like, oh, this new vampire army's come to fuck shit up, and it's up to our good friend Richter, who has to live up to the legacy of the Belmonts, and he's gotta be super cool and awesome.
That's kind of what's being implied. It's gonna happen.
Like, oh look, it's
Is it written by the same guy?
I believe the showrunner. I'm not necessarily sure if he's the writer as well, but I believe Adi Shankar is going to be doing the show running for it.
Okay. Is that the same guy as the first one?
Yes.
Yes.
Didn't Adi Shankar also get the rights to a Devil May Cry?
He specifically said that he wanted to steal away the rights for Devil May Cry before the jabronis in Hollywood do something fucked up. Those are his exact words. Okay, not exactly, but like he did say jabroni.
I do have my issues with his writing.
I mean, yeah. Also, I'll be real. I feel like they didn't need to hold on Trevor for so long. I think they probably don't get me wrong. Season 4, super great ending. I think that they maybe either needed to hasten that a little bit, or just maybe knock out Season 3. They didn't really need that shit.
You think they stuck with the Castlevania 3 cast a little too long?
Yeah. I think like the 4th season is pretty satisfying, but like I don't feel like you need 80% of it.
So, do you think they're gonna cover Symphony of the Night eventually?
I mean,
Maybe.
like they kind of have to if they're doing Richter.
Not true. And which week we're gonna see Alucard again?
Well, not to mention because Symphony of the Night takes place literally directly after.
After Rondo of Blood.
Yeah, it takes place directly after Rondo of Blood. So there's just gonna be Richter Belmont, and then it's probably gonna be the
Alucard show.
the Alucard Power Hour. Yeah.
But yeah, about looping back to Dead Poet Society, that's like the best version of Cool Teacher because it doesn't feel that it doesn't need to like take the piss out of it or do it with like a twist. It can just do it.
He's also just legitimately like a good
Yeah.
teacher, but in
He's
like
like a
a reasonable and
teacher.
understandable way.
Also,
It's
wow,
just a lot of people don't like him because he's like unconventional, and they're like, I don't like him teaching our kids. He's being weird about it.
Also, Orange, this game looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, let's go.
Like I played the first game. It feels like, looking at the gameplay of this game feels like the Doom to Project Warlock 1's Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dead Poet.
What the fuck was their big issue with his teaching?
I think some. Let me take a look here.
on a second. Is there preferences? No. Visual setting? Is there a HUD option? Okay, I guess
It's
not.
probably preferences.
I checked preferences, nothing there. Hold on.
No? Okay.
Double check.
Field of view?
Yeah, no, nothing. Okay. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to get rid of the health bar, because that feels like a very unnecessary part of the thing, because most enemies die in like 15 seconds. Like...
It's probably for bigger enemies that you'll do even later down the line.
Yeah, I suppose.
What was I gonna say?
I will
You know
say...
what'd be really funny?
No, what was it, huh?
If in the new Castlevania show they somehow reference dead cells in some form.
I mean, well, hey, you know, they had Rebellion in the background of like one of the fucking shots.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
keep in mind, Adi Shankar said that he wants to do a quote-unquote bootleg multiverse, where
What
I
does
guess
that mean?
I guess at some point, I don't know, fucking Dante and Soma Cruz are gonna come together.
Oh, that'd be cool. Though.
I think a lot of the issue was that he was teaching the boys to be real independent, and because it was like a boarding school, so they all had like real strict parents or something like that.
So,
Or prep school or something like that.
So the big crimes of it are one, unconventional teacher. He's telling kids to be independent and not have like a big open mind, and have a big open mind instead of just like teaching by the book, which is like the part that he's upset about and saying tear out of the book is like there's an equation here that says how to read good poetry or read poetry good. Fuck that. That doesn't actually matter, and you don't need to know that. The school just thinks that you should. Two, he's technically in charge of or administrating or at least silently consenting to the existence of the Dead Poets Society, an illegal school club where people just go to a cave and read poetry and are being independent.
And
How dare they?
sometimes look at Playboy magazines.
And also, and the big part is one of the kids in his class, Neil, is signing up to be in a production of Midsummer Night's Dream, and his dad is a shit, and shows up during a performance and is like, I'm not having this for my son. He's going to be withdrawn from Welton, and he's going to military school. And Neil is like, well, Mom, are you going to let Dad do this? And she's like, yeah, whatever. I don't know why. I can't really do it. And Neil commits suicide off screen.
Oh, Jesus.
And they basically decide to blame all of that on the Dead Poets Society, and it's just like it's all the structure of his learning and shit. Like it's a lot of this stupid parent ideal of you got him into this stupid like theater stuff, so it's your fault. And then all the kids stand up and say like we're gonna do it, and I think he does. Robin Williams generally does get fired, but all the kids like, say that they respect him and that they're gonna keep living on and thinking the way they do.
Yeah, they all recite "Oh Captain, my Captain."
It also doesn't help that I think I generally confuse the plot of this with Scent of a Woman, because they both take place at a boarding school and have a rascally old guy who's going to teach these kids a lesson about fraternity and being good people. Except one of them is you should be an independent person that reads poetry for enjoyment and understanding. And the other one is, yeah, don't be a fucking snitch, and you gotta be good to your friends, you know? And also, he wants to smell women because he likes dancing with them.
I mean, you had me up until that last part, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, well, I mean, it's portrayed in a more romantic way. It's more like he recognizes the beautiful woman that's fallen for him because he's a blind man, and so he does not recognize her by vision or by the sound of her voice, but by her scent, the scent of a woman. Which you'd think that like plays into a lot more of the plot, but it doesn't. Most of it's just like his nephew is trying to get through boarding school and is like being brought before a tribunal because his shitty friends, led by young what's his name? The big guy from such films as Catching Fire and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's young Philip Seymour Hoffman, just kind of being himself as he is in most movies. They like pulled a prank on their headmaster, and he's like got to face a school tribunal because he was like the one witness, and if he doesn't, they might kick him out.
I have a theory
And that's a good
the
most of
fucking roof will come down on the robot. I want to see if it works.
But your real problem is most of the good, like the Ethan Hawke movies that anybody cares about are Training Day with Denzel Washington, which isn't that great of a film. But it was good enough that they tried to get, but they did give the thing was it was one of those movies where the Academy was like, oh man, we weren't able to give Denzel Washington an Oscar for Best Actor for a good movie he was in. So instead, we're going to do it for Training Day to kind of make up for it.
Oh, like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant.
You're getting it.
But they're like, he should have gotten an Oscar a while ago. Fuck it, just give him one for The Revenant.
Also, this is that was post the point of social media, so everybody's yelling, why the fuck doesn't this guy have an Oscar? And then everybody figured out he might be a little bit of a weirdo when it comes to women and their age.
Oh.
And Ethan Hawke was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor in it, but lost it out to Jim Broadbent, who was in a film called Iris about famed novelist Iris Murdoch and her husband. But since I haven't seen it and don't care about it and heard it somewhere instead, the better answer is that it's a lot easier to just say that Jim Broadbent won it for his much better performance as a supporting actor in Moulin Rouge, where he is a mustached man who runs the Moulin Rouge, a decadent French burlesque theater / brothel. And he is just like the most fantastical character. And also he gets to sing Madonna's Like a Virgin while dressed as a woman because he is convincing a rich guy to...
To what?
Oh no.
Because he is trying to portray to his benefactor, a rich duke, that it's better to not sleep with his star courtesan because he's basically just trying to do it because she's in love with someone else, and it's like contractual obligation that he has to sleep with her, but he's like, yes, but she says that you make her feel like a virgin touched for the very first time, and then it breaks into a big number because it's Moulin Rouge. But he's basically just trying to use that as an excuse for, nah, you should hold off and not sleep with her. That'd be cool if you did.
Gotta love a good jukebox musical.
Hey man, it'd be cool if you weren't a huge piece of shit. Nah, but I wanna. You know,
the other movie that Ethan Hawke was in that people give a shit about is Boyhood.
Oh.
Took 12 years
which
to
I
make.
didn't like.
But it took 12 years to make!
And it feels like it took 12 years to watch. Like most Linklater films. That's my problem with Richard Linklater films, is they're long, they're boring, they're dialogue heavy, but the dialogue doesn't really... It's not really in service of a narrative half the time, and sometimes is the entire movie instead of a narrative.
You know, hold on, really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did Boyhood win any Oscars? Did it get like any
Unfortunately,
awards?
I think it got Best Picture.
Oh god
was
damn it! Of
definitely
course
nominated.
it did.
I was gonna say, it seems like prime Oscar bait, but everyone I've ever heard say anything about Boyhood is they always say it took 12 years to make and it wasn't fucking worth it.
You see, the problem with Boyhood is they try to portray it like it's a film that's honest about growing up and being a kid, and these are the sorts of things that would happen in the life of, like, just a normal kid, and you're just sort of seeing it through his eyes. And it isn't. No, it's mostly just either, like, I'm gonna have a really long speech about growing up that's supposed to impress you about being while you're a boy, and that's supposed to, like, inform your life. But you don't really, because it's not very inner, it's very, you see the film from the boy's perspective,
Yeah.
but the boy's outside perspective. It's not narrated by the boy or in the boy's mind.
Oh,
It's
so he's just
here's the boy. Fucking, there you go. He's probably
Just
learning
like-
something from this, like, fucking long-winded speech from Ethan Hawke from his dad. And then part 2 of why I don't like it is part of Ethan Hawke's big speech is, hey, son of mine who I can't see because I'm divorced from your mom, I made this cool mix CD called the Black Album before Kanye's Black Album came out diegetically. So the idea is, like, he's like, yeah, it's called the Black Album because it's the best Beatles songs after they broke up, and I put it all on one disc, and I think that's pretty cool. You could impress a lot of girls like this. And hey, guess what? No fucking track listing, no further development. That's like, hey, guess what? That's a cool idea. Any building on that? Nope, eat shit.
No,
Part 3 of why it
they
sucks
couldn't
is
pay for Beatles songs. What are you, fucking crazy?
exact. Well, I mean, it's also they're like, it's like I think the only one they play is like they got like they've got like some Ringo Starr and the All Star Band like going on there, so it's like, oh, okay, they probably didn't need to pay much for that. Part 3 is like, the first part of the movie is just childhood in general. It, like, nothing really happens until something does happen, which is boy's mother, Patricia Arquette, moves in with some guy who seems like a good guy at first, and the indication of how you can tell he's an evil person, just objectively, is he walks into the kitchen, reaches for a high shelf, moves a cookie jar, and then just, like, drinks half, like, a bottle of, like, cheap vodka from, like, a little fucking, like, cheap ass bottle, which you can tell means he's evil. And then it gets immediately less subtle, because it's like 1 to 2 scenes later, he's just like, well, I'm gonna have a drink with dinner, in a needlessly aggressive way. That is immediately, and you'd think like, oh, because he's an alcoholic and a violent alcoholic, and like, you'd think that's subtle, but the immediate follow-up is then he's just openly abusive towards his girlfriend, and the scene, like, right after that is, oh man, oh shit, I spent all of my money on booze because I'm a violent alcoholic. Boy, I need you to take this check, walk into the liquor store, get it cashed for me. It's definitely gonna bounce because normal people don't cash checks at a liquor store, but, like, I know the guy, so, like, he's good for it, which is literally fraud, and he's just gonna have his stepson do that. And then the denouement of that mild storyline is Patricia Arquette just decides she's had too much, and she is taking her son and leaving. And the boy actively points out, like, what about, like, the other 2 kids, my step-siblings? And she's like, I can't go back for them. Technically, I can't take them with me because they're not legally my children, but, like, I'm sure they're gonna get out okay because I'm gonna call the cops on him. No follow-up.
Child Protective Services.
Absolute. Well, it's also, like, the 90s in Texas, so good luck. And, like, they actively point out where it's like, is this gonna get solved? Will these children be safe in this household? Because this violent drunk is going to come home and just murder his family because he's been shown to be an out-of-control maniac? Don't know. Never comes up again. The character and anyone else from his family does not appear anymore. And the follow-up to that is Patricia Arquette gets a new boyfriend who's like, like abusive to her. He's just kind of another guy that drinks a lot and is an asshole to her son. But they try to frame it more like he's like, he just doesn't like him for like, because he thinks he's lazy or fucking liberal or some shit. And he's kind of just as much of an asshole. He's just not a cartoonish like abuser like the first guy. And it's just fucking lazy storytelling where it's just like, oh man, it's a real experience of growing up. No, it isn't. No, it's just tired fucking tropes you recycled into this movie to build around this kid aging. And then the follow-up to all of that is, oh man, I should go to college and get good at photography. And his like professor's gonna give him a long-winded speech of, yeah, your photography, it's really good, but fuck you, you're not applying yourself enough. You're not taking this seriously enough to become like a great photographer, which you could be if you weren't such a stupid asshole who doesn't take things seriously enough, you stupid shit. And like, there's nothing to inform that because you see him growing up, but there's not any character development. You don't see a lot of character development because it's from the outside. And then like the last thing is just he gives a long speech to a girl he likes who's also interested in photography, saying like, maybe I should leave Texas because every family I've been with sucks ass and I don't fucking like them. And also they're mildly abusive. And it's like the ending's just, I'm gonna go to college, I guess, and keep being good at photography, maybe, or whatever. I think the thing I heard best was from the Super Best Friends podcast, where they point out there's a scene where Boy and like 3 of his multicultural friends are hanging out in like an abandoned building, just like dicking around, just playing around, like.
Everyone does.
Boy has just like one of those big like buzzsaw blades that you put on like a table saw, and it presumably, I think it's like a construction site or just an abandoned building, and they just
picked it up.
They just found a big buzzsaw blade, and they're just playing with it because they're kids, and like, oh man, like let's throw it at that door, like that's gonna make like a really fun sound. And one kid like holds up like a big piece of wood and is like, hey, throw it, and like he does. And I think it might have been Wooly or Pat specifically point out that it's like in that scene you think, oh man, is like he gonna accidentally hit someone with that saw blade and it's gonna be a big problem and like really emotionally like harm this kid and that's gonna live with him? Nah, just nothing fucking happens in that scene. It's just kids playing in a house.
It's like that one short story.
That's what kids do.
It's like that one short story about fucking Waiter Boys by Hemingway, where one accidentally kills the other one while they're playing like Matador or something, except with no emotional payoff.
You see, it's like there's almost the hint of an emotional setup where it's like and like the boy is kind of like already a dejected kid. He's kind of edgy and doesn't like people, probably because he's come up in an abusive, broken household where he can't like really attach or trust people. But it doesn't really go anywhere. Like, none of these things inform his character because he's really just kind of a quiet guy who's not really talking to anyone. And not really, like, he voices himself a bit, but not as much as you'd think to build anywhere.
To be fair, I'm fairly certain this would have been a pretty decent movie if it was made when they started making it.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's hard to keep consistent tone and, like, structure when you're filming something over 12 years.
Alright guys, that's the last
It's the also last kind
shot.
Of the
See you again in 4 years. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Boyhood. With Boyhood, do the people behind Boyhood have anything to do with Book of Henry? Because those both kind of occupy the same spot in my brain.
I'd have to look up Book of Henry. I'm not sure I read it.
Why does it have a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, because it's...
because the critics loved it.
Yeah, because...
Henry is another movie I have not watched that I've been told is incredibly overly pretentious.
It's an 80% audience score.
Yeah, because it's bad. See, it's like I remember distinctly, like, the Oscars was such a fucking joke that, like, when they asked the Oscar nominees, a movie won that I'm fairly convinced that not a single person that I had like talked to or met throughout the entire course of that year had ever heard of. It's like it was some like fucking like very clearly like Oscar bait movie of like some dude and some girl are like in a car driving somewhere. That's the only bit of information that I saw about that, other than it's very clearly like designed to like evoke like emotions and be like impactful or something.
Yeah, that's most. Yeah, they call it Oscar bait. That's lots of movies. Okay, luckily I did find out. Boyhood actually was mostly snubbed at the Oscars because Birdman came out that year, and Patricia did get Best Supporting Actress. But I also feel like that's one of those things where it's like they probably meant to give it to her for a better movie and didn't, because like most of the movie, she doesn't really do much. Like for the first part of the film, it's like she is a sad woman who like left her husband because they're not like they couldn't work things out. She was getting out of a relationship she couldn't handle, and then she just makes bad decisions for like for partners throughout, and doesn't really have as much of a point of speeches. And for most of the film, like, there's a point in the film where she just stops kind of being a character and then just also becomes an alcoholic, where any scene you see her in, she's just going to be drinking and might pat boy on the head and tell him, I love you so much, boy. And that's about it. And, like, it feels like she didn't really earn a high mark for Best Supporting Actress.
Like, I feel like
Meryl Streep in Into the Woods should have fucking won that. That would have been, or Keira Knightley in Imitation Game. Like, give them fucking something to work with.
I feel like if this film is being shot like over that amount of time, you maybe realize that, you know, maybe this person would like learn something over the span of like somebody's basically their entire lifetime. But no, I guess people just get stupider.
The last two bits I have on Boyhood are Ethan Hawke also lost out Best Supporting Actor that year to very fairly to J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, because I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's also because Best Supporting Actor, like, not like officially or anything, is the Oscar you win when you're playing the villain, unless the villain is the direct main character of the film. So, like, yeah, when Heath Ledger wins for the Joker, it's going to be for Best Supporting Actor, because he's the main. He's not the lead, but he's so big there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely something like interesting to be said about Whiplash as a whole, and like J.K. Simmons' role in that, because it's like it's supposed to like leave you wondering as to whether or not like his methods were actually like sound or viable, because like at the end of the day, it worked. But did it work because the guy was just good at playing the drums, or did it work because J.K. Simmons basically pushed him to what I would describe as
abandon everything?
Yeah, literally give up everything and become the world's greatest drummer.
I always took that movie as like to be the fucking best at something, you kind of have to destroy your own life a little bit.
Hey, which one was which one?
Whiplash.
Whiplash, I feel, is a movie sort of about like, it's somewhere between like, these are the abuse. It's the pain and suffering that makes an artist great and powerful, and it is the hammering of these things and the perfection you need that makes you great. But also it kind of underwrites it, where it's like, yeah, no, like they make it very clear that like, no, J.K. Simmons is a violent, abusive man who is like fucking with people, giving nobody any chances when he could, and like doesn't see any like Miles Trevor was in like Miles man was in like a fucking car accident, and that was the reason he was late to an orchestra, and he's like, no, fuck you, get out. How dare you be late to my fucking orchestra?
I mean, wait, like, wasn't like what happened?
Play your fucking jazz better.
Wasn't it like he forgot something and had to go back to get it, and then he got in a fucking car
Oh no, it's
accident and
like
kept
no, he
going?
gets in a car accident, like realizes he doesn't have like one of his drums or drumsticks, has to go back and get his drumsticks because he knows J.K. Simmons isn't gonna fucking give him any if he shows up there without them, and gets them. He gets like a good ways out, and then he's like, fuck, I gotta go get those drumsticks. And then has to go back, comes there, is letting J.K. Simmons is just like, nah, fuck you, eat shit. And like it's sort of a play off of like what you're getting, is the amount of suffering you go through worth it compared to is this guy creating great artists? And it's kind of ambiguous, but it shows that Miles in the end has that heart. He's got the ability to be great, and he has survived J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
And despite him actively trying to fuck with him on an open stage by he switches out his he's like, hey, come on over, we can clear thing. I know
He's like,
he
what
got
is it? They're gonna
fired.
like play Caravan or something, and then
Yeah, he like gives them like the wrong sheet music
He
or
gives
some
him the
shit.
wrong. He gives him the sheet music to Whiplash instead of Caravan, to fuck with him because he knows that he was one of the people that narked on him, and got him fired from the school. And he literally comes up and sets like the second Miles looks and finds it's Whiplash and not Caravan. Like he walks over there and whispers like, "You think I didn't know it was you?" Like, yeah. And he just walks up and he's just like, all right, let's do Caravan. And in the ending is just Miles is just like, nah. And he just plays like the hardest fucking drum solo, just drowning out everyone else in the band.
Well, no, like originally,
to prove himself.
Well, no, wasn't it like he starts doing Whiplash and then they start doing Caravan, and then he's like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then he just goes, "Nah, fuck you," and then he just starts going off with the drum solo, and then everybody starts playing along
the
with him.
failure is palpable, and then he just starts going extra hard on the drum solo.
It's like, you can't
and
stop me. I'm
like,
gonna do this. Fuck you.
But didn't he also like completely?
Fuck you! I'll ruin this whole performance. Eat shit.
But then
I think that's sort of the revenge of it. Yeah.
And then like. It's weird because, like, he technically, like, he does ruin his performance because he ostensibly upstages the guy at his own performance because, like, everybody starts playing along with him through, like, his drum solo because they're just kind of like, he's winging it and they're like, oh, fuck it, we'll wing it too. And, like, everyone's like, yeah, that's good. And it's like, okay, so he did, like, at the end of the day, he did technically show up J.K. Simmons, but he also proved him right, which is the problem.
Well, I mean, it's sort of it where it's like, it's sort of, he turned the L into a W, but it's also that we cut off just like in the intensity of that solo. So it's just like, what is the denouement of it, and J.K. Simmons has like a face about it, but like it's one of those inscrutable endings where it's like, what does this mean? Does it mean that he is fulfilled artistically and surpassed J.K. Simmons, or does it mean that the torture J.K. Simmons put him through did make him great, and that he is evolved because of that? And I think that's fine, yeah.
But also, if I remember correctly, didn't Miles completely destroy his personal relationship with Getaway?
Oh yeah, no, like,
no, that's where my always take. That's my take on it. It's like to be the best at something, you kind of have to destroy your own life. Like, look at fucking Jordan and basketball. Like Jordan's a fucking crazy person. He's a fucking huge asshole.
Which, like, I genuinely find that, like, that kind of, like, mentality interesting, because it's, like, you know, I mean, like, well, actually, let me rephrase that. I'm glad the movie didn't necessarily phrase this as, like, this is a good thing that he's doing. Like, suffering for your art is important and good, and you should, like, abandon everything for your pursuits. It's, like, Miles ostensibly becomes, like, obsessed at like, one point, because of, like, how hard fucking J.K. Simmons is pushing him, and they're, like... And it's like, oh shit, sorry, this is really... I don't know why this is really fucking loud. Yeah. But, like...
Drum solos.
And it's like... I mean, like, yeah, okay, I guess you did kind of show up J.K. Simmons, but also your life is still fucking ruined. Like, you completely, like, annihilated every aspect of yourself just for ostensibly, like...
Approval?
Almost, yeah, approval. Approval of some random guy who I would describe as actively hating you.
I mean, he like literally like first couple scenes, like they say something like, "Oh man, he's got a reputation. I heard he picked up like a cymbal and whipped it right at Charlie Parker's head." And like Charlie Parker is like one of the fucking greatest jazz legends ever to known. The Birdman, yeah, like, and he wasn't taking shit from him. And Charlie Parker made it through him, and he became a legend. And like literally halfway through, like second or third performance, like when he's done slapping him in the face, he does the exact same thing and just like, yeah, you heard the fucking rumors or some shit, yeah, I'll whip a fucking cymbal at you, I don't care, fuck you, do better, just play the fucking music perfectly, piece of shit. Like, but that's all you get from him. It's, and I think it's decent. But I will also say my last word on Boyhood is that it's also absolute shit, because when you take the concept of, what if I made a movie where I filmed a kid throughout his childhood at marked spots, so we could get that literal visual growth of character through the movie, and this child is a suffering child who has been through so much in life because his parents aren't there and he's living in an abusive household. They already did that movie. And they did it way better in 1982. And they called it Fanny och Alexander, and it was made by famed Swedish director Ingmar Bergman, who is known for just making great European, like, surrealist films. And it's just a really, well, it's very long. It's like 9.5 hours or something, because
Jesus.
Bergman film, and it's supposed to be like, here's the entire childhood of these two children striving to find themselves and be imaginative and live their life despite abuse and hardship. And it's way better than but it's actually like a real story with like something to live for and good storytelling, and it isn't just fucking weak and overly emotional and just a big series of needless speeches.
But Noir, the soundtrack is really like emotional when they say the same canned like big emotional moment speech that you've heard one shit zillion times, but then like I don't know, the sound design's good and people are acting. It might not be great. It might not be like a great script, but it's acting. That's what people want to see, right? Don't you love slop?
You know who my favorite supporting actor in any role is? Or possibly the strongest supporting actor? Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, who's in that movie for all of like 10 minutes and just absolutely fucking steals the entire show.
I'd say you get a similar feel from, I think it might be it's Ned Beatty in Network, where you don't need to know a lot about Network. Most of the movie is just a big 70s parody of what if a guy who was this guy is just really upset and just emotionally destroyed because life sucks and the news is always bad, and he's a news anchor and he threatens he's gonna unalive on national TV because everything's bullshit and nobody fucking cares. And the horrible twist of it is everybody loves it, so they give him his own show and way more money to do it with. And the big follow through on the movie is things just keep getting more extreme and ridiculous about this ridiculous sort of over political extremism in the media, to the point where and the idea is he is the star of this like weekly hour-long show where he is going to have a protracted like half-hour political rant, at the end of which he collapses of exhaustion every single time. But the thing is they basically Ned Beatty is like the guy who runs the network company, and he calls him into his big office, like everyone's alone, there's like only minimal candlelight, and he's like, close the door. Okay, so like, you're fucking crazy. Everybody already knows that. But the thing is I know you're so crazy that you're not going to understand what I'm saying. unless I make it exactly as big and crazy as you are. So he just has a big long speech where he is just trying to be as bombastic and challenging and outward as the main character is. And he's just like, you know what? The thing is you just say a bunch of crazy dog shit on TV, and it doesn't matter, like, really, if it's true, because you're just sort of like saying anything that comes into your head if it's conspiracy, but it makes people angry, and that's what's important. But that's not working because you're so popular, and now you're actually kind of getting towards things that technically are true. Like, he's like, you basically came up with some theory how, like, these fucking Arab countries are controlling the oil industry, and they're gonna fuck with us, and they're gonna ruin everything, and they're gonna take control. And that's actually kind of true enough that it's going to upset the political balance of things, and so you need to stop. And it was so good that they gave him a Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, or at least a it was definitely nominated for, like, where it's just like, no, and that's like he's in like a couple smaller scenes but isn't much a character, but he's like, no, I'm gonna have this big long short speech where I tell you exactly what you fucked up and what you did, and I'm going to make it just so you can understand it, and that's good enough for him to win. Also, there's only one good Ethan Hawke film, and it's called Gattaca, and it's great.
Oh, I've heard about Gattaca.
Gattaca is a movie where Jude Law, so it's the future, and it's a future where eugenics controls society, where if you don't have the good genes, like, you can't get a good, like, standing in society. And Jude Law is like a rich, cool guy who has, like, the best house and the best life, but he's also, like, has a motion disability, and therefore he can't live a true and full life. So instead, he's going to let Ethan Hawke, who is like a regular guy with bad genes that are bad enough that he can't be big in society, he's going to give him enough science that he can fake having his direct genetic code enough that he can basically take his place and live his life. And there's a lot of, and he falls in love with Uma Thurman. He starts trying to live this new and interesting life and try to strive despite the oppression of being genetically inferior and people trying to figure it out. And it's a great film about, like, prejudice and the terrors that the world could come to if we embrace eugenics and this idea of genetic superiority on any general level and the destiny of man. Even the name Gattaca itself is, I think ideally the name of it is, like, based on the company he works at, but it's named that because G, A, T, and C are the nucleobases of DNA,
Yeah, I was
what
gonna
make your
say.
genetic code. And it's a great film. He's great in it, but I mean, one, it's also got, like, Jude Law, Ernest Borgnine, Gore Vidal, and Alan Arkin and Uma Thurman, because it's a great movie with a lot of good stuff for it, and got nominated for Best Art Direction, but didn't win. But I mean, other than that, Ethan Hawke's kind of like one of those. He's one of those guys that sometimes could get a main part in a movie, but he's also kind of boring. He's sort of like if you had a younger, like, Josh Brolin, where he's kind of got that same stone face, like hardworking Southern guy sort of personality feel off him, but he's not as, like, hard or well defined. So it just kind of, it comes off less like a younger Josh Brolin and more like just a lesser Josh Brolin. And also, a lot of the movies he's in are just fucking Linklater films. And Richard Linklater doesn't like making movies that are about characters. He likes making movies that are about people existing, the zeitgeist of a time, or the mood of the time of where we are in life. And
That
most of them are
sounds.
real fucking boring.
I was gonna say, that sounds like it could be interesting if it was made by a good director.
You'd think so. Like, his other big starring film with Linklater is a duo films called Before Sunrise and Before Sunset. And the whole of both of these movies is Ethan Hawke gets on a train from like somewhere to Paris and he meets a girl. And they have a long conversation about like the understanding of art and what does it mean to fall in love and the beauty of Europe. And should we fall in love? We only have one day to be together. Can we truly have a romance of one day? And they agree that 1 year later they will come together again and meet in Paris. And if their love will blossom, it will be true. And the second movie, the big thing of it is diegetically, this movie was filmed like exactly 1 year later. So in real time, it's been 1 year since we made the movie. So it's so cool that like we waited an actual entire year. And that's the plot of Before Sunset is 1 year later they come back and there's a lot of deep strife because they didn't really connect as much as they wanted to, and they were kind of pushing back in weird ways against each other. And that sounds good, but it's mostly just sort of the drop off is, man, we're kids with a lot of idealistic ideas who want to talk about the nature of art and pleasure and love. And then the second movie's like, man, I guess all of those didn't work out right because we weren't brave enough to be good people or some shit like that. And it's long, drawn out, and boring. And most of the scenery is just we're gonna walk around Paris. That's it. I think there might be like a good amount of long shots involved, but like there's also just a lot of shot, reverse shot. You're not going to get much out of it. And if you weren't being taken by the plot line in the first place, you're not really going to get much out of it. I saw Before Sunrise and I was like, wow, that was boring as hell. I don't care. And knowing what the second movie's going to be about, I'm just like, no, why would I want to see more of that? And like see the big development of these two people I don't really care about. Whatever.
Thank you all for joining us for tonight's
That does sound
stream.
boring.
Are we still on stream?
Oh, we sure are. I didn't want to stop you mid-thing to end the stream, so I just kept it
Hey,
going.
man, I'm fine with that, sure.
Alright, that's it. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.